Now, let's just take a look at this example. You can try to pause this video and try to do this example by yourself and see how many you can get right, and come back to watch to see the memo if you have got it right. So let's just take a look at this example. So it says that in a survey conducted at a music store in Johannesburg, they found out that 250 people bought amapiano music, 220 bought hip-hop music, and 100 bought both. 20 of them didn't buy neither. So the first question is that draw a Venn diagram to represent this data. So by now we know how to draw a Venn diagram, and we know what Venn diagram is. So the Venn diagram number one, which is Venn diagram, we're going to draw a rectangular box, which is this one. So inside this kind of rectangular box, we have to draw some circles. So how many circles are we going to draw here? We're going to draw 2. Why? Is because there is only 2 equipment, which is amapiano music and hip-hop music only. So if there was another music in the genre, we'll also include it. So how are we going to draw those kinds of circles? Are we going to draw them intersecting or not intersecting? To know if you are going to draw the intersecting circles or not intersecting circles, you have to look for the word both in the statement. If you don't find it, you don't draw circles that intersect. But if you find the word both in this kind of statement, that's where you're going to draw 2 circles that intersect. So from here on, we can see that both in our statement is here, whereby there is both who bought 100 of them, both. So it means these 2 sets of events, there is where they intersect. So we're going to draw 2 circles. So here are the 2 circles. So for the first one, we can name it amapiano, and then this one can be hip hop. Actually, so where do we start to fill in our information? I told you on our previous videos that when we want to draw a Venn diagram, we start by the information that include both, so that we cannot overcount. So we're going to start with the number that include both, which is here 100 that are doing that bought both amapiano and hip hop, which we're going to write 100 here. So now we're going to fill the one that is for amapiano, which for amapiano there is 250 people who bought it. So are we going to write the 250 here? No, we're not going to write the 250 here. Why? It's because inside this circle of A, there is already 100 people that are here. So how many are left there so that these kinds of people can be able to be 250? So to know that kind of answer, you can say that 250 minus 100, then you are going to get what? 150. So if you put 150 here, the total of people here who bought amapiano, it will be how much? It will be 250 to meet this total. I hope that one is clear. That's the confusing part. So going to the second one, which is hip hop. How many people that bought hip hop? It is 220. So are we going to write this 220 here? No. Why are we not writing 220 here? It's because we're going to overcount this kind of stuff. We're going to overcount the total number of people. So what are we going to do? So for hip hop, we're going to say 220 minus 100, because there is already 100 people in this circle that are here. So they was going to separate by 100. So then if we separate 100, we're going to left with 120. So then this is 120. If we count the amapiano, the hip hop only here, we're going to find that there's 220. And then for amapiano, there's going to be 150 for add these 2 numbers. So this is the information that we have to include there. And I forget there is 20 of them that didn't buy neither. So those kinds of people didn't buy either of those kind of stuff. Where do we put that kind of number? We put it outside the circle, but inside the rectangle. So we're going to put that 20 here. You can put it here if you want, as long as it is outside the circle. So this is our Venn diagram for this. Hopefully we're going to get 3 marks. Yes. So this is 20, actually not 26 now. So going to the second question. The second question says that calculate the number of people who bought amapiano music only. You have to read the questions very carefully. So going to the second question, So they want the total number of people who bought Amapiano only. Amapiano only, you know. So then we're going to find that kind of number. So that kind of total number, which is Amapiano only, so then we're going to say Amapiano only, which is only, you know. Total number. So there is a language, there's a notation that we write in probability. So we're going to write it this represents the total number of Amapiano only, you know. So for Amapiano only, where do we find this kind of number? For those kind of people who bought Amapiano only, where do we find them? We find them here in this kind of circle here, which is 150. We don't include the 100 because the 100 they bought either one of those kind, and here they want only, you know, Amapiano. So which is 150 using our Venn diagram. So Venn diagram, it simplifies absolutely everything for us. So going to letter B, they say calculate the total number of people who bought hip-hop music only. And for this one, it's going to be simple, but the notation, guys, you have to like get used to this kind of notation, which is H only, you know. It's going to be what? It's going to be 120. We don't include this 100 because that one is for both, you know. So, but here they want for only. So then they say calculate the total number of people in survey. So they want the total number of all these kinds of people in all, you know, that were surveyed there, you know. So this one is the same as the total number of sample space. Actually, the total number of sample space is written like this in probability. You have to get used to this kind of notation, guys. It's not that difficult, you know. So how are we going to find this kind of? We're just going to add this kind of student. We're going to add 150 plus 100 plus 120 plus 20, which in total is equals to hopefully 390, you know. So the total number of sample space is 390. So going to the third question, they say find the probability that a person selected randomly bought only Amapiano. Now we're not just looking for total number, we are looking for what? For the probability. So they want the probability, this is A, you know, the probability of buying only Amapiano only, you know. We know that the probabilities, it goes with this formula, which is A out of NA. By now I hope you know this formula. So this one, we're going to find the total number of A only, and we divide it with what? With the total number of sample space. So for A only, we already calculated it here, which is 150 divide. Sample space is the one that is the total, which is 390, which is 390. This is 150. So if you work this one out, you're going to get 5 out of 13. Yeah, hopefully. So going to letter B, it says that for those who bought only Amapiano, they want the probability for that. So still going to be the same. The probability of H only, you know, is going to be N H only divided by what? By NS. This NS is for what? Sample space, you know. So for N only, which is the total number, is 120, which is 120 divided by the total number of sample space. So for this one, if you work this one out, hopefully you're going to get 4 out of 13. It's just the opposite of this one. So going to letter C, which find the probability that the person, as you see, who bought both of them. So both, as I illustrated in my previous video, because I've done a video previously, when they talk about both, they are looking for the probability of A and H. I hope by now you get familiar with this. When they talk about both, they talk about and, you know. So that's the meaning of both. So to find this kind of probability, we have to find the total number of A and H, which is Amapiano and hip hop, divided by the total number of sample space, which is equal to what? So the total number of those kind of people who do both, where do we find them? We find them in the circle where they intersect, which is 100. So we're going to write 100 out of sample space, which is 390. Do you see how simple it is? So we're going to, if you work this one out, you're going to get 10 out of 39. Yeah. So going to letter D, actually, letter D, you want to know those one who bought neither one of them. When they talk about neither, where do we find that kind of total number? We found it outside the circles but inside the rectangle. So how do we write that one? We're going to say the probability of neither, neither A or H. You have to get use of this writing notation of probability. So we're going to find the total number of neither A or H, divide by what? Divide by total number of sample space, So for neither, where do we find neither? I've explained it on my previous video. Is this one that is outside, which is 20 out of what? Out of 390. This one is going to give us, so if you work this one out, you're going to get 2 out of 39, So going to letter E, the one that bought either one of them, either one of them. I explained it on my previous video. When they talk about either one, they talk about what? Or, I hope by now you're familiar with that one. So letter E is going to be the probability of A or, or what? Or H, So then I'm going to go the total number of people of A or H divided by what? The total number of sample space, So how do we find the A or H? I explained it on my previous video. If you have not watched it, guys, I beg you to go and watch it. It will help you very much. So how do we find the total number of A or H? So A or H, it means those kinds of people who are doing, who bought amapiano only, and also bought hip hop only, and also who bought both, which means we add all this total that is here, to find that kind of total number. So if we add this one here, subtracting this one to 20, it's going to give us 370 divided by 390. If you're wondering how did I find this one, I add 150, 120, and this one. This one is 100, 100, 100, and then this one is 70, and then it's 370. So if you work this one out, you're going to get a probability of 37 out of 39. So this is your probability, and this is how you were supposed to answer this question.